Welcome. When you came to my office, I discussed with you, like I do every person that comes to my office for nomination confirmation. One, to bring up about whistleblowers and respect for whistleblowing. And number two, we answer all of our letters. And I usually advise people in the last 5 years, instead of saying yes, they ought to say maybe. So I don't know whether you said yes or maybe, but it turns out maybe. So for example, some of my oversight requests, some dating back over a year. February 2018, I inquired into the terrible tragedy at Parkland, Florida. 17 lives were lost. March 2018, I chaired a hearing on that shooting. The FBI told the Judiciary Committee that it was working on a report on internal process failures relating to, among other things, the intake procedure for call-in tips and what transpired in the Parkland case. As of today, the FBI hasn't provided a report to Congress. Is the report complete?
I don't know that I can speak to the report itself, but I can tell you, Senator, that we have.
I'm not asking you to speak to the report.
Okay.
Is the report complete?
And as I sit here right now, I don't know whether the report you're referring to is complete. What I do know is that we have completed a significant investigation, if you will, internal investigation of what happened out there, and made a whole number of changes. I'd be happy to provide more information about what's happened out there.
Let's say you don't know whether the report's complete. You've given us an update on it. I appreciate that. Let me ask you this. When the report is completed, will Congress get it?
I'd be happy to see what information we can provide about the work we've done. I'm not trying to play word games with you here. I just don't know enough about the specific report that you're referring to, the document. But I do know that we would be happy to provide detailed information to you and any other member of Congress about the hard work that's been done to improve our public access line.
Except for national security or except for privacy? What couldn't be made public about what the FBI did right or wrong?
I think we'd be happy to provide you more information about it.
Okay. On May the 9th, Senator Johnson and I wrote you a letter about documents that the State Department provided the FBI after it met with Christopher Steele. When can Senator Johnson and I expect a response?
That one I'm going to have to ask my staff to look in, and we'll get back to you.
Okay. According to news reports, the FBI waited months before pursuing sexual abuse allegations made by Olympic gymnasts. Last July, Senator Feinstein, Blumenthal, and I sent you a letter to request a briefing on the matter. We're still waiting. When can we expect a response to our letter and a briefing?
Well, Senator, on that particular matter, we, as you may know, there is an ongoing Inspector General investigation. So we essentially turned that matter over from our inspection division to Inspector General Horowitz and his team. And so we are awaiting the results of that investigation and would be happy to engage with you and your office upon completion of the Inspector General's investigation.
Well, is he supposed to report to you or to the public?
Probably both, I would assume.
Okay. I've sent several letters to the FBI regarding the investigation into the shooting of Bijan Geizar by the National Park Police. I haven't received a substantive response. When can I expect clear answers to my questions and a conclusion of that investigation, which I think now is 18 months old?
Well, I'm not intimately familiar with the investigation, but I believe it is still ongoing, so it would be premature for us to provide any substantive information at this point.
You know, you kind of get the feeling with several of these instances that there might be something out there that's going to embarrass the FBI. Are you worried about embarrassing the FBI if some of this stuff's made public?
I am not having us withhold any information out of fear of embarrassment to the FBI.
Okay.
We take our share of lumps, and I embrace that as part of the process. The FBI has made its share of mistakes over the years, and you've, I think, played an important role in some cases in highlighting some of those mistakes. And I think one of the things that distinguishes the FBI from a lot of other organizations is our commitment to learning from those mistakes.
I wrote you a letter in April concerning the case of Special Agent Parkinson. He made protected disclosures and was dismissed. But after he won his case against the Bureau and was reinstated, his security clearance was revoked. I haven't received a response. Does the FBI revoke security clearances as a way of getting around court decisions favorable to employees? And then can I get a response to my letter?
I'm not familiar with this specific matter, so let me ask my staff more about it, and we'll get back to you on that one.
Okay. As I've written about publicly before, the Justice Department Inspector General produced Congress a highly classified document relating to Clinton investigation. Here is an excerpt from the Inspector General's unclassified report on the Clinton investigation related to the classified report. Quote, Although the mid-year team drafted a memorandum to Deputy Attorney General in late May 2016 stating that review of highly classified materials was necessary to complete the investigation and requesting permission to access them, the FBI never sent this request to the department. So this tells us four things. One, the FBI apparently had highly classified information potentially irrelevant to the Clinton investigation in its possession. The FBI drafted a memo in May 2016 to get access to the information. The memo said the review of the information was necessary to complete the investigation. The memo was never sent. Question, Director Wray, how could the FBI complete the Clinton investigation if it didn't review all the potential relatively information related to it? And lastly, do you know of any other examples where the investigation was completed without the FBI reviewing potentially relevant evidence within its possession?
Well, Senator, as to the specific example you cited, I'm generally familiar with the fact pattern. I am a little bit concerned. I recognize that you're reading from an unclassified document, but I'm a little bit concerned that my ability to address it in this setting is somewhat limited. So let me circle back with my staff and figure out if there's a way for us to be a little more responsive in a different kind of setting.
Well, I'll be waiting for that information. Thank you very much.